Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Rant and Chill. And on this channel, I like to rant, I like to chill. Here we're going to be ranting a little bit, talking about, reading an article and talking about an article about why the Black Lives Matter movement fell flat in Japan. Okay, this could get a little spicy. Let me just preface this, what I'm about to get into. I'm not a white nationalist, but sometimes I wonder if the experiment that is like mixing everything is doesn't work. I kind of wonder if that, because the in-group out-group bias that's pervasive and like ingrained in human beings. Anyway, with that said, let's get into this. All right, let's get into this. So if you already disagree with what I said there, you're probably not gonna like this video. Maybe you will. No thanks, Vice. I'm not signing up. All right, so this is on Vice World News. Why the Black Lives Matter movement fell flat in Japan. Well, wait, there's black people in Japan? I mean that's the go-to, right? Oh wait, what? It's like, I think Japan is like 97, maybe 98% Japanese. And so what? So be it. I mean, Japan is Japanese. People live in Japan, you know. Japan is mostly Japanese, and you know what? That's fine. That. I would have no problem if Japan is like, you know what? We really don't want to take any refugees. You know what? We don't really want to, like, you know, bring in other people. We're good. We're good. We've seen how that worked out in America. We've seen how that worked out in Germany. We see how it worked out in other places like Sweden. We're just not gonna do that. How about that? Just say that, and I'll be fine with that. Like, I'm fine with that. I think in a way, every particular, I guess, race would like prefer to have their own little community and stuff. I mean, you see that happen, even when you're a child in school. Like, when you're in school, where is everyone sitting? There's no segregation in American schools anymore, but where does everyone sit? It's automatic segregation by choice, right? That's what happens. Sometimes you'll get some mix, but okay. But usually, it just so happens to work out where, you know, white people sit with white people, black people sit with black people. You get the Hispanics in. It's sort of like form their own little community clusters, you know, little clusters. Okay. And that's just in high school. But even when you're an adult, you know, and especially certain communities, certain neighborhoods even are prominently a particular race. And before some people go, oh, even before that, like, I'm not even talking about ghettos or anything. I'm talking like there's some, especially in this area where I live, there's some nice developments that are predominantly black. Yeah. I mean, cool. I have no problem with that. And sometimes I wonder if, like, you see people automatically kind of do that. I kind of wonder if that would be for the best for people to just kind of, you know, kind of go that way. At least be okay with it. Not have to, not, what I'm saying is, I think it's okay to not want to force diversity. That's what I'm saying. Okay? You can't just force diversity. That's no good. That is no good. If they don't get along, they don't get along. Okay? But it goes on to say the killing of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter protests over the summer last year inspired debates, conversations, substantive actions all over the world. One noticeable expectation was Japan. I saw the riots. I watched the riots in America, and I watched the riots in other countries. And I did see some try to start off in Tokyo, which was hilarious because I was like, why? Like, Japan is so far removed, and like, who really cares? You know? In Japan, honestly, like, why would they care? Like, it's not their thing, not their problem. You don't have to be what? Anyway. Especially when they probably saw BLM for what it is, some stupid Marxist movement that's really just going to try to uproot society through, let's see, subversion, using this sort of tactics there. Getting getting the younger citizens to a younger population to grow disdain towards their government, towards their culture. If they can do that and divide them on that, get them to hate their especially their culture there. And in Japan, the culture is so ingrained, so rooted, so it'd be really hard for them to do, but it's possible with any culture, I suppose. Anyway, and it goes on to say, there were thousands of people in June. There was no nationwide reckoning in a country that hasn't fully come to terms with historic racism, I think, minorities such as indigenous and you. Okay. Japan can handle its historic events how they want. Like, I don't really care, so I'm not, first of all, I don't really know much about that, but even if you were to tell me, oh, Japan has a racist past, be like, okay, I know a little bit. I know how the Japanese look at the Philippines, okay, Filipinos, okay, but I don't have a problem with that though. Anyway. The main thing about this article is Sophie. Sophie talks about how she marched in Tokyo. Sophie says, I marched in Tokyo, but sadly most of the people weren't Japanese. So why is that sad? And they don't really care about the movement. Okay, so what? They're busy trying to... Dude, they're busy working, all right? They don't have time to be marching in the street, complaining about Black Lives Matter. Look... Get a job, do your thing, all right? It's hard in Japan, man. I can't forget the look in the eyes of people seeing our march. They were ignoring us. Well, that's how they should be in America, honestly. Not interested at all. It made me cry. What are we doing if it doesn't matter to them? On television, they don't talk about it. Well, that's because you have no influence. The BLM movement has no influence in the media in Japan, which is great. Okay, we see how effective that is here in America. Anything that has BLM on, it's like, come on, it's so cringe. It's like, okay, dude, I don't want BLM stuff in my sports. I don't want BLM stuff in my video games. Like that. That's a quick way for me to be like, oh, look, like. You put that out there so much to the point to where I want to say, like, I don't care. I just do not care. All right? But anyway. And I'm a lover, not a hater, right? Not a white nationalist. Okay? Every race is cool, all right? I'm cool with them. Not a white supremacist. I don't see white people as better or worse. Growing up in a small town near Osaka, I never talked about racism. My mom is Japanese. She prefers not to disclose her father's nationality. But when I was, because I believe he was black, and it sounds like he was probably an American, maybe through the military, maybe on a military base, because you gotta think, hey, how did he get there? But when I was 6, they divorced and he left. In our town, people stared at me and pointed at me. Look, a foreigner. Well, Japanese can be ruthless, but so can everyone else, especially kids. Kids are ruthless. They're little monsters, man. It was so sad. It made me depressed. I didn't want to go out except for school. Well, it can be sad to be picked on. It can be. I understand that. Although I was Japanese, I was never considered to be Japanese. I knew it was the color of my skin. I had a foreign name. That didn't help. When I was 8, I asked my mother to change my name. I wanted a Japanese-sounding name. Things changed when I moved to Tokyo last year. Tokyo is more diverse, so I feel more comfortable. It's more international. People don't look at me as such or as much. I don't need to care how to behave, that I need to be Japanese. Now I don't need to be seen as Japanese anymore. But here's the thing though. If you want to live in Japan, you pretty much have to you have to embrace their culture. You have to live as a Japanese person. You have to like eat like they do, live like they do. It's very rigorous, man. All right. It's not, you don't really get a lot of Like, you have to live like they do, which makes sense. You're living in Japan, all right? You want to live like an American, which sounds like you do. Come over here. Sometimes the police stop me, but I was never afraid. I don't know. What are the stats on police brutality in Japan? Are they brutal in Japan? I have no idea. I couldn't tell you. When I dated a black guy, he was stopped by the police a lot. Oh, okay. Restaurants didn't let us in, and taxis refused to stop. Well, that is unfortunate. That is sad. In a way, I could say, people on the left will say, private business could do what private businesses do, right? When it comes to like political leanings and like vax and stuff. What about race? Why not? If you want to say, a business could kick somebody out because their political leanings, then okay, fine. But does it suck to have a restaurant deny you? Sure, yeah, it does. It does. But I'm not gonna force them. I'm not gonna tell Japan, look, you need to change your ways, and it's their thing. If they want to be Japanese Japan, let them be Japanese Japan. In a way, Japan is changing for the better. The country is becoming more diverse. Oh, diversity is our strength, right? You see more hafu. Hafu models. Is that like black or foreign? What is hafu? But there are still issues with no. You know what? Hafu is probably going to be considered a slur like 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So I mean, watch that anyway. But there are still issues with diversity, such as the notion of beautiful white, or bihaku, in Japanese. That's the idea that people want to have a white skin color. Well, yeah, dude. Like, look at the geisha, dude. You're not gonna change that, and you see that in various Asian cultures. You're really not gonna change that. Look, it sounds like you're crying and complaining that some people like light, fair-skinned, as a preference, as a beauty standard. I mean, that's. But guess what? Some people like dark. There are some Japanese models that tan that look pretty dark. Some people like dark. Okay. After I posted about racism in Japan, I received a lot of comments, a lot of opinions, because we're homogenous. We don't know about this problem, which is true. People commented, Japan is not homogenous. It is homogenous. It is homogenous. It is mostly Japanese. You could almost say it's like 99% Japanese. There's a little bit of diversity there. And maybe it should stay that way. Even in June, when Naomi Osaka retweeted in protest of Black Lives Matter in Osaka, she was criticized for talking about racism in Japan openly. Right. Stop that. Because that's a talk. Because BLM operates to bring that point up, to start riots, to start a revolution. That's the plan. So you see, look, the Japanese government, they already know what's up. They know they know what this is about. They know how to prevent subversion, and that's what they're doing. People were saying that there's no racism in Japan. Well, I mean, is there? I mean, it sounds like it's choice. Refusing to serve a particular person by their race, is that racist? Well, I mean, I suppose so. But, I mean, maybe it's just a preference. Maybe they're like, or maybe there's more to the story. Maybe that black guy was dressed a certain way. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. But, people can be racist. And I kind of believe that people are... I believe that all of us are racist to some degree. But people kind of lie and pretend that they're not. I mean, you've been in high intense traffic. You probably said some things. Probably thought some things. Regret. All right. My real friends understand my point, but with others, I feel like cutting ties. Well, maybe cut ties. So to me, when I'm looking at this article, I'm seeing somebody. I'm not gonna read it all. I'll tell you why. I'm seeing like somebody cry and complain and have a fit over the fact that, look, Japan is homogenous. Japan is mostly Japanese, and that's the way Japan should be. The reason why Black Lives Matter didn't do much or anything in Japan, it fell flat in Japan, is because, you know what, the truth? They don't care. And it's not their place to care. Like, it's like there's like what, 2 black people in Japan? And you might run into a taxi, it doesn't take you. You might find a taxi, it will take you. I don't know. You're not going to bully the Japanese into acceptance. I pray to God that does not work. Okay? Maybe, but you know what? But that's maybe learn the Japanese culture. Maybe do that. I mean, I've seen stories where Japanese people. I know a couple instances where there was a black sushi chef. I don't know if you call him chef or whatever, and that is taboo. That is a cultural taboo because he's not Japanese and he's preparing sushi. Oh man, but I gotta find that story. But I want to say it was like he had an issue with it. You know, he met a lot of resistance or whatever. He got a lot of what guess you say nasty comments about it. But he prepared good sushi. He prepared good food, so people actually came around. I'll try to find that story if I can find it. I swear to God, I'm not making it up. Unless my dreams are becoming really, really too vivid. Anyway, but let me know what you think about this. And I know this topic can be hairy, okay? And I probably expressed opinions that you probably don't agree with. To me, that's fine, okay? Like I said, I don't know how many times I have to say it. I'm a lover. Like if you're Hispanic, black, you know, just pick a race. I'm fine with it. I mean, I'm someone who dated pretty much Indian chick, Hispanic chick, black chick. So white chick one time. The rest after the white chick, it was diversity after that. Okay, so I'm a lover. Okay, but I have this. I wonder if the social experiment that is America of being the mixing pot, if it failed, and I think it failed. I think it failed because it became the mixing pot for various reasons, you know. But anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. To keep it really focused on why the BLM movement fell flat in Japan, and also if you think Japan should open up and be more diverse. I say no. They're fine. Let Japan be Japan. That is fine. Look, Israel could be Israel. Japan could be Japan. And, yeah. With that said, y'all take it easy. Have a good one.